I'm Wheezey for Wheezey Knows Football, and this is everything you need to know about the NFL Draft. If you are a casual NFL fan and want to understand the game like a seasoned pro, then you've come to the right place. Let me be your guide as we dive into the entertaining world of the NFL. Even the most casual viewer will find football fun to watch, but there is so much more to learn and understand, making the nuances and finer points of the game bring an added element of drama only the hardcore fan can appreciate. My goal is to suss out those elements and educate you so everyone can enjoy the NFL for what it really is: beer and Viagra commercials. Being the NFL Draft is right around the corner, we will give you the information and answers you need to impress your friends and make you an official NFL hardcore fan.
So the NFL Draft is right around the corner, and you want to know, what is the draft? How does it work? And most importantly, what does that mean for my favorite team?
We will start out with the draft itself. NFL scouts to general managers, coaches, owners, janitors, lunch ladies, and the guy who bleaches the jock straps follow college players throughout their college careers. These players are analyzed and ranked according to each team's needs and specific structure.
If a player becomes draft eligible, they can declare for the NFL Draft. Teams then work out and meet with their potential players during the pre-draft process. Teams talk to not only the player, but family, high school and college coaches, friends, roommates, ex-girlfriends, co-workers, and just about anyone who can give information on that particular player. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have talked to over 75 different people in researching just one player.
Once a team knows which players they want, the decision makers then put together a draft board of all the players they have their sights set on.
The next big challenge teams face is draft order. Draft order is determined by each team's previous year's record, being the worst record chooses first, and the winner of last year's Super Bowl chooses last. The idea is to give a team that lost a lot of games last year a better chance at winning next year by getting the best players coming out of college. The only exception to a team's record is playoff wins and losses. The final 12 selections are ordered on how a team did in the playoffs, regardless of their record. Even a team with a losing record can end up picking towards the bottom of the draft. An example of this is last year's Carolina Panthers. They won their division with a 7-8-1 record, and then went on to beat the Arizona Cardinals during Wild Card Weekend. This puts them picking number 25 overall, even though their record would have them much earlier otherwise.
The draft itself consists of 7 rounds. Teams take turns selecting the players they want based on their draft boards, hopefully making their team better. That's the idea anyway. The Browns and Raiders have a history of doing poorly during the draft.
The team with the previous year's worst record has the coveted, highly rated but never faded and oh so sweet number 1 pick. That number 1 pick allows the team to select whichever player they want. It's a no-brainer, right? How could a team lose with the best player coming out of college on their team? You could always ask the Raiders' Jamarcus Russell. He could answer that question.
Getting back on track, teams pick the players that best fit their specific needs, whether it be on offense or defense. In addition to draft order, teams can trade up to get a highly rated player or move down to get more selections throughout that year's draft.
In recent years, the Washington Redskins traded 8 separate draft picks to the St. Louis Rams for the number 2 overall pick. The Washington Redskins then used that pick to choose Robert Griffin III.
Trading happens throughout all 7 rounds. Teams move up or down depending on which players are available. As a result of a team's desire for specific players, there is a lot of misdirection, false media reports, and workouts for players the team has no intention of drafting. Teams hold their draft boards tight to the vest to ensure they get the players that they want.
Because of these tactics, teams have to keep their strategies to themselves and make sure they keep everything in-house. Teams hold their draft boards tight to the vest to ensure they get the players they want. It's an NFL version of spy versus spy, teams setting each other up only to have their booby traps blow up in their faces. On draft day, teams go on the clock to select the players they want in the order determined by draft position. This takes place over 3 days, with round 1 the first day, rounds 2 through 3 on day 2, and 4 through 7 on day 3. Let's listen in on last year's draft trade and selection of Johnny Manziel.
The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 22nd pick to the Cleveland Browns. With the 22nd pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Johnny Manziel, quarterback, Texas A&M.
Once a player is picked by a team, they can then come on stage and meet the commissioner. They can also take photos in their new team jersey. While it is a great experience, some players opt to stay home and celebrate with their families.
Now that we've discussed the basics, what does it all mean for your favorite team? Those that draft well throughout all 7 rounds get low-cost talent that can become solid starters or even superstars. The Seahawks, are a good example of what excellent drafting can do. The majority of their best players were drafted after the 2nd round. Infusing a roster with low-cost and high-talent players allowed the Seahawks to pay their current veterans, like Marshawn Lynch, while still competing for Super Bowls.
Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl 48 MVP, was a Seahawks 7th round draft pick. Russell Wilson, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman were all drafted by the Seahawks in the 3rd round or later.
It just goes to show that with good drafting and coaching, any team can become a contender. This is out of the ordinary, however, as most draft picks after the 5th round don't play in the NFL for more than a few years, mostly becoming practice squad or special teams players. If you have any questions regarding the draft or any other NFL-related topics, please leave them in the comments below. As always, I am Wheezey for Wheezey Knows Football, bridging the gap between the casual viewer and the hardcore fan. Good night.